Hello, hello, hello. This is Attorney Don Dennis, and you are here at the law office of Don Dennis's YouTube channel. I am Attorney Don Dennis, and I am here to share with you information that will lead to success and help you avoid some problems in your business. So, whether you wear a white collar, a blue collar, or no collar, you are definitely going to hear information that is extremely valuable that people pay to hear all the time, but I'm sharing it with you tonight. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the comments. I want to give a shout out to everyone. Hello, Corey. Glad you're here. And if you're watching it at a later time, please let me know where you're watching from. I'm interested in knowing what city everyone is coming from. I am here in Los Angeles, California. It is just after 7:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And hold on just a second. We need to make one technical adjustment. All right, I am back. So, Jacksonville, Florida. I am thankful that you're here, and thanks for sharing that. That's always very interesting to see where everyone's at in the country or the world. I appreciate you for being here. So, the topic tonight is, are you confused about what to do in business? And when I say confusion, it's not so much that you're just in a daze and a blur, but maybe you're unable to think clearly. Why are you unable to think clearly? Because there's so many things going on at the same time. There's so many factors. You're trying to get profitable, you're trying to make money, you're trying to come up with a product, a niche, a marketing plan. And with all these different things pulling on you and tugging on you, you may be unclear. You may be a little confused about which direction to go from time to time. And so we're going to talk about that because it's not just affecting you, it's affecting a whole lot of people, especially if you're getting started or if the business has been well established. There are pivotal key moments in a business's life in which changes have to happen, especially think about during COVID, thinking about, when there's a global pandemic, when there's a shortage of supplies, there's always times that you have to pivot and you might be confused. Another reason that people get confused is they don't do enough research. What is research? Research is not scrolling on Instagram. That's not research, or TikTok. Research is taking the time to read, to study, to look at technical resources, research from expert opinions in your field to make sure you clearly understand the dynamics, understand the trends, what the government is doing, any laws, policies. That is not the most exciting thing in the world to do. And so, because it's not, a lot of people don't do it. And therefore, it leads to confusion and being unable to think clearly. Also, another reason for confusion is not enough experience. Thinking that, oh, I see it on TV, they did it, I can do it. Thinking, years ago when I was a child, I was, I think, about 11 years old. And I spent the night at my grandmother's house. And early Saturday morning, my uncle, he was older than me in his early 20s. He came and woke me up and he said, look, my car is getting fixed and I need to go pick it up, but I need someone else to drive another car. So basically, I ride with you down here in one car, and actually my grandparents' car, and then I hop in my car at the mechanics and you drive the other car back to the house. He said, so do you know how to drive? And I said, yeah, I can drive. No problem. I can drive. So we're in Los Angeles. We're in South Central. and we're, I think, near Manchester or Florence, I'm not certain, near Normandy, and we're driving, and I got it. I mean, but the problem is the way he adjusted the seat before I got in the car was way leaning back, and I could barely see over the steering wheel because I'm sitting so far back. You know, people sit back, relaxing, being cool, and I'm 11 years old trying to see over it. So, you know, I know gas is go and brake is stop. So I'm maintaining, I'm making it. And then when I'm just driving north on Normandy. And when I get to 54th Street, we have to make a left. I'm like, okay, a left turn. Huh. And now I think leading up to that, I had made a right turn. I navigated that okay. So we get to the light. I'm like, all right, I can do this too. And so I started making that left turn and he gave it some gas. And I gave it too much of a turn. And I drove right into the car facing the other direction, going the opposite way. And I hit that car bumped into another car. And so I could see my uncle ahead of me in his car looking through the rearview mirror, like, uh-oh, what's going on? So he pulls over. I pull the car over. The driver hops out. And the driver says, hey, how old are you? I'm like, oh, I'm 11. So obviously that didn't end well because those drivers' cars got damaged. They had to be paid. It was a big fiasco. Why is an 11-year-old driving? However, I thought I knew. I thought that watching other people do something was all the experience I needed to do something myself. And lo and behold, I found out it wasn't. Now that's comical and it's silly as a child, but what we have in real life are a lot of people operating businesses where they think they know, where they think they understand how to do something because they've seen someone else. And in reality, they really don't. They really don't have the experience. And it's not so much the issue that you don't have the experience, but you're not seeking out guidance and wisdom from other people and from resources in order to become more knowledgeable and to gain the experience that you need. So we're going to go over a few issues that contribute to confusion or keep you lost, keep you unable to focus clearly and get things accomplished. First and foremost, let's talk about faulty assumptions about what it will take to accomplish your goal. I am not a handyman. I don't do handyman work. However, I'm proficient with buying appliances. And so I know that if you want to buy a washer and a dryer, you have to measure the space where it's going to go to make sure it's going to fit. And so I, called myself being smooth. I went and measured the space. I had a washer dryer. It was going to sit right next to each other. But what I didn't take into account were the molding around the doors and the frame. So yes, according to my measuring tape, it fit perfectly. I had about an inch or two space in between, but that wasn't enough to actually maneuver it into the space. So what I'm saying is you want to get guidance from someone that has done exactly what you need to do in order to accomplish the goal you want. You don't want to make a faulty assumption that you can do something and you're really not certain. And a lot of times, the obstacle that businesses face is their budget. They're on a budget. Profits are slim getting started, or at certain key junctures, they feel they can wing it. They feel they don't need to pay. And so they say, hey, I've seen it. I have an idea. I think this will work. In the same way I was stuck trying to squeeze this washer and dryer in, and I had to have a handyman fit them in there and take the door molding off so everything will fit flush. You can be stuck as well. And so you don't want to make a faulty assumption. You want to get as much information as possible. Now, when we're talking about getting information, another issue that contributes to confusion and causes problems for businesses is obtaining wrong or outdated information and from the wrong sources. When hybrid cars first came out, I had a hybrid and I was glad about it. A lot of people didn't know about the technology, and here in Los Angeles, and in the state of California, in LA in particular, if you had a hybrid, you could drive in the carpool lane by yourself without having to pay any fee. Also, you could park at parking meters for free. So any meter, anywhere you wanted to go, you could park at a parking meter for free just because you had a hybrid. But that was in the early 2000s. Well, the law ended up changing. And later it became you couldn't drive in a carpool lane for free or by yourself. And you couldn't park at meters for free. So if someone is buying a hybrid now and they're relying on information that I'm going to share with them based on when I had one, they'd be getting wrong, outdated information. So you have to make it a point to know the most current information, the most current rules and laws pertaining to what you are trying to do, if in fact you want to be successful, especially in your business. Another problem that causes confusion for people is listening to the wrong people. Family and friends might mean they might want the best for you. They might mean will have all the greatest intentions. However, I remember an older gentleman told me years ago that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So just because you have good intentions, it doesn't mean it's the right information. And they could be sincere if you're talking to a family or friend about what you should do and how you should handle a certain business decision or something going on in the business where you have to make a crucial decision. But they could be sincere in what they're giving you, but sincerely wrong. And if they are not currently operating that kind of business or don't have extensive experience in that type of business that you're in or in your profession, then they can't edify you. They can't give you things that you know will be intellectually stimulating and profitable because they may just not know. Not any fault on their part, but it's just that you can't give what you don't have. And that's the bottom line. Another issue that causes confusion amongst business owners is not being aware of current information and all the deadlines that go into what you have to do. And you have to know deadlines. You have to know due dates. There are certain licenses you have to apply for. There's certain restrictions that arise in different areas of business that you operate, whether you have a store, whether you're a professional, such as an accountant or an attorney or a doctor. There are certain standards that you have to keep up with. And your failure to do so can get you fined, can get you sued, or can result in you losing a license or something else that is very vital to you operating. So you have to be aware of that as well. Another problem is we talked about research, but another big issue is not researching and reading things in full context. If I'm looking for a certain answer online and I just say, oh, I think this is the answer, and I Google such a very narrow issue, a very narrow question, I might get partial information. And partial information without reading the whole chapter, without reading the whole book, could still have me confused and lost. Think about it. If you ask someone that did not have a Porsche 911, what type of fuel do I need? They will say, oh yeah, just go get some gas. But you need premium fuel because you're operating a premium vehicle. And so, yes, they're correct. You need fuel, which is partial information, but they did not tell you the whole information. So we have a question here. Corey says, do you feel that government-sponsored seminars for small business owners are good resources? Government-sponsored seminars are often very good resources. In fact, the Small Business Development Center has a plethora of great seminars dealing with marketing, finance, advertising, getting information from mentors. They also have a program through the government called the SCORE program, where you can talk to retired people in your profession, in your business field that you're in right now, and they will give you guidance of different things that they use to succeed and ideas of things you can do to avoid. So government-sponsored resources are great. In addition, they also offer grants, assistance with business loans, and micro funding. And they have typically a small business development center in every major city in the country. And also, with respect to the SCORE mentors that you can speak with, you can do that over the phone for free or through Zoom. So it doesn't even matter where you're located. So there are a bunch of resources that are available, and you might as well take advantage of them because your taxes are paying for them anyway. So although it's important to get information, you do at a certain point have to take action. You can't fall into what is called analysis paralysis, which means all you do is analyze things nonstop and you never make a decision. We have another question. How much do you think one should save up in terms of capital to successfully launch a startup? Well, it really depends. And I hate to not be able to give you a specific answer, but I say it depends because it depends on what type of business you're in. For example, if your business is operating a real estate investment company where you're buying properties and renting them out, then you might need to have between 7 months and a year worth of savings that will take care of your mortgage, your interest, your tax, and your insurance in case anything happened. So in that type of business, you might need that. If you're operating an online business where you're just providing a service, you might not need to have a large amount of savings. If you're operating an accounting practice, you might need to make sure you have enough money to pay for your office location if you're going to have an office, and have money to pay your rent if you're not buying the facility for 6 or 7 months. So really it all depends. So let's see, he got more specific. He said a healthcare, what does it say? A healthcare, I can't read that word. Let me see. Oh, a healthcare startup. Okay. A healthcare startup. Well, yeah, it depends on, all the fees that are going into it. For example, do you have money that you'll need to pay out for your payroll? Do you have a certain type of software that you need to budget for? Do you have someone that's going to have to do your accounting and your books that you need to pay for? What other registration and government fees you'll need for your licensing, for the location, anything like that? So you would want to have enough saved up to help you to the point that you feel you'll be profitable. Also, a contingency plan in case anything happens. So maybe you projected in your financial projections it's going to take about a year to become profitable. Well, you'll need a little bit more than a year of savings for that. And when I say savings, we don't want to just throw out a number, but we want to base this off of defined costs. Like I said, rent, software, licensing fees, payroll, marketing costs, taxes, and other things that are just specific to that business. So let's see here. Now, we were just talking about getting information, taking the time to research, talking to experienced professionals in the field. However, you don't want to watch 100 YouTube videos on something. You don't want to search all the Google articles you can possibly read on the topic and then never take action, which is often called analysis paralysis. You have enough notes, enough information to write a Harry Potter book, enough to write a new portion of the Bible, a new edition of it, but you never do anything with it. So that right there leads to confusion, because if you're listening to so many different sources, they each may have a difference of opinion as to how you should enact your plan for your business to be successful. So sometimes, not all the times, it's good to look at a lot of information, but sometimes it's good to focus on one proven method, take advantage of that method, and then enact your plan. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. We're giving out a lot of valuable information. We're being as specific as possible. Also hit that subscribe and notification bell so you'll know when we go live. Another thing that I see causes confusion, and is also a big error that businesses sometimes do, and that is assuming because you saw some big name business do something, if they're doing it, I should do it. If they're doing it and I know that they are a Fortune 500, then automatically it's legal, automatically it's correct, and I should follow in their footsteps. But what you have to realize is businesses, regardless of size, get sued and fined every single day. Facebook and Meta have been sued and fined. Wells Fargo has been sued and fined. Volkswagen has been sued and fined for things that they did that were in error of the law. And because of that, you have to rely on your own independent research and don't just cut and paste or copy something rotely that you see someone else do without knowing in your mind that you can sleep securely because you're doing it right. Because as I gave these examples, big companies make mistakes. In addition, big companies go bankrupt. Look at what's going on with Bed Bath and Beyond. Look at Bye Bye Baby, Party City. A lot of major retailers that were at one time doing things had certain practices pertaining to marketing, pertaining to how they ran their operations, but it didn't necessarily work out the whole way through. And so you don't want to just copy what you see, copy and paste. So what are some things you can do, in order to try to focus on being more successful, in order to focus on having a great outcome? Well, one, collect facts, not rumors. You have to have factual information to make a decision. You don't want to just assume or base things off of rumors that you hear or base things off of just conjecture or other individuals' hypotheses. You want to have facts before you make any decision, especially a decision where you're putting your hard-earned money into it. You have to know that your money is going to achieve something, or nothing is guaranteed, but you have a high probability of achieving success. In addition, you have to take responsibility for your trajectory. No one's going to take responsibility for your business but you. And if you don't know what you need in order to be successful, how can you know what to ask? One thing I do is I ask a lot of questions. And I ask the questions so I can get understanding, so I can learn, so I can figure out what I don't know, so I can figure out what risk I am willing to accept, and then find ways to maneuver and work around that. And I encourage you to do the same. Ask questions, get information, and pay close attention to the answers that you receive. Take notes and use them for your business plan, for your marketing plan, for your financial plan in order to succeed. Another thing you have to do, another thing that's interesting, let's see, we have another question. When getting leads and potential clients for services, do you feel it's better for face-to-face meetings or over the phone? It really depends on the type of interaction you're going to have with the business. For example, as an attorney, if someone is coming to me because they have a court case and we might end up in litigation or something protracted, and at a certain juncture in our relationship, I might need to have the client go on a witness stand, or I might need the client to testify or do something else that's public facing, then I most certainly want to see that client that potential client, before I accept them as a client. So I know who I'm working with. So I know if this person looks believable. So I know if I can kind of gauge if the information they're giving me is going to be reliable. So in situations like that, it's important. However, if you're just selling a service or a product to someone, obviously it really doesn't matter whether you have a face-to-face or a meeting over the phone. But at certain junctures, depending upon how much time you're going to be involved with someone, how much money is at stake. Oh, and money, yes, that's a very big thing. It's one thing if you're doing a deal, let's say for a couple $1,000s or under 10,000 or something like that. But if you're doing a very big deal, hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, you most definitely want to meet the person face to face. You most definitely want to do a background check and understand as much as possible about the individual or the business with whom you will be doing business. So in situations like that, I would definitely say meet face to face. Another thing, if you ever notice, I don't think anyone, let's see, it was one of the things you said, and social media maybe. Yeah, social media is okay, but again, it's like acting. You can be whomever you want to be on social media if you're just watching a video, but it's a whole nother thing if you have to talk to someone face to face in real time and they have to give you responses that may not be scripted, that they can't just rely on reading, chat GPT or looking down at the phone to get an answer, but you have to have that one-on-one continuous dialogue. I talked a lot about research, and I talked a lot about talking to experienced professional individuals in order to get the guidance and direction that you need. I don't think I have ever heard of or seen a video or anything on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok of someone at a library, someone online studying for hours upon hours, learning and perfecting their craft. Why? Because let's be honest, studying, continuously having to research and read and take notes, that's not that attractive. It's easy and it's more attractive to make a 20-second video showing you have everything together as opposed to showing what all you went through to gain that knowledge, to show all the hours you had to study in school, for example, all the time you spent doing homework. None of those videos are going viral, but that is the key. That is what is important, and that is what's going to allow you to have sustaining power once you get out there as a business owner and start doing what you need to do. Another thing is, I do recommend asking and getting advice. I do recommend talking to professionals. In fact, and I recommend patronizing professionals. Every single year, I get an eye exam, I get my teeth cleaned, and I get a physical. I get an eye exam from an optometrist. I get a physical from a general practitioner, family medicine doctor, and I get my teeth cleaned by a dentist in that particular order of profession. I don't go to the eye doctor and ask for a physical. I don't go to the dentist and ask her to examine my eyes. So what you have to do is talk to professionals in your field. If you're doing business, you need a business lawyer. If you have a real estate transaction, you might need a real estate lawyer. But you don't ask people that don't specialize in your area how they can help you succeed in that area, because you're setting yourself up for failure, which in turn leads to the specialty of my office in helping businesses get going and stay profitable, helping businesses with their transactions and their contracts, reviewing these contracts to make sure that they are correct, to make sure that you are protected. And if not, identifying that before you sign it, because once you sign it, it's too late. Once you sign it, it's all over with, because the way the law works is unless you've been defrauded, unless something suspicious is going on in the transaction, you are looked at as an adult, and you had the opportunity to review anything you sign, to determine whether or not you want to do business with someone, and to make that, and to have an attorney or someone help you review the agreement. And your failure to do so is on you. So if you need an attorney that's seasoned, if you need someone that is going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about any agreement that you're going to sign, or give you guidance and be with you during the steps of the way as you're on the path to success, contact my office. Reach out. It's better to make a call and be safe than later be sorry. I want to thank everyone for watching, whether you're watching now or later. If you have any questions about anything that we've discussed, feel free to put it in the comment section. I will try to respond to everyone. And again, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you'll know when we have the next upcoming video. Wish you all the best.